In the last video, I broke down the entire commercial sales process on how to take your business to $10 million and up. Now in this video, I'm gonna start with the first segment of that, which is what I call the introduction phase, on exactly step-by-step what you need to do in order to start getting leads, start estimating those jobs, and how to win your very first projects so you can start the whole process. All right, so now in the first part of this whole thing, everything is dependent on getting leads in the door, okay? So if you haven't watched any of my videos on leads, I have like 1,000 videos up there on like prospecting and all that stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put a link here somewhere. All right, let's start in the beginning. So you gotta get leads. Build up your unlimited lead system. And the overview is this. You go to Dodge, you go to Blue Book, you sign up, you start getting bid invites, right? And you're gonna get access to all the jobs. You're literally gonna pick up your phone. You're gonna go down the list. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, I saw that you're bidding the Walmart Audition Project. Can I bid the job? Yes. Next company. Hey, I saw that you're doing the ABC renovation project. Can I bid the job? Yes. Boom, 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 boom. If you are a GC, you might need to go pass by and visit them because they're going to need to, usually architecture firms and developers and owners, they're a little bit more picky. But if you're a subcontractor, boom, boom, boom. If you and I work together, hint, hint, then we could get you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of leads a month. So you're literally like cherry picking, like, oh, I like this job. I like this job. I like this job. That's the goal of the unlimited lead system. That's why I call it the unlimited leads. All right. So you get the jobs in. What do you do next? You're going to filter them, pick which ones you like. If you're a smaller contractor, if you're doing like interiors or subcontracting, typically I would recommend bidding like for packages. And in another video, I'm going to talk about packages. The link will be here somewhere. So now you get the bid invites, you call the people, they give you the green light to bid the job. Great. Now, if you are a smaller subcontractor, then I recommend you stick to jobs that are less than like $200,000 contracts. You will probably want to be under $1 million or maybe maximum like 2 million, because that valuation means the overall construction cost. And typically a rule of thumb is just divide that by 10. And that gives you an approximation of where you might be, plus or minus, like, you know, a huge margin. But the job's $1 million. Each trade is worth approximately 5 to 10%. Painting is like 3%. Drywall is like 5%. Some of the MEP trades are like in the 10% range. So it varies. But just do a rule of thumb, divide by 10, and that gives you what your contract value might be, potentially, or something close to it. Anyways, so now you're going to bid those jobs. And I call the next phase of this building your bid machine. It's very, very important that you have to build an estimating department. One of the first people that you need to set up is going to be your estimator. And the problem is most of the people watching this video are probably, well, actually, according to the demographics, they're usually in the high 20s to like 40s. And you probably have a small business. You haven't been in business for 30 years, but you've been in business long enough where you're like, man, I gotta do something here. And you're a little bit entrepreneurial minded, which is good. I gotta get you a lot entrepreneurial minded, not just a little bit. That's my job. So you gotta build up an estimating department. And the very first person that I typically recommend, I usually recommend actually first getting a field superintendent. And then secondly, an estimator. You might be great in the field and you might right away just need somebody to be estimating your jobs. Hint, hint, we could do this for you. But if not, build your own estimating department. Go hire someone, train them, get an office. So the problem here is an estimator's salary is typically $100,000 to $120,000 a year because he's the rainmaker. He's the guy that makes the company money. So they usually already have a job. And they usually have a very good job, their salary, their benefits, their medical, all that stuff, vacation days. So it's very hard for a small business, one-man operation, or small little 2 or 3 or 5-man operation to even be able to, number one, afford them, and number two, be able to convince somebody to leave their career job to come work for you. Very, very hard. Our solution, by the way, is we can estimate all your jobs for you. We have our estimating team. Literally, we could just be this, like you can literally click a button and pick the jobs you want, and then we can help you with leads. We can help you with your estimating, all that stuff. So if you're interested, I'm going to put a link below. I don't want to talk about it too much because this is not an ad. I just want to make myself available to you because I know everybody struggles here. Like estimating is the pandemic of the construction industry. We just got over COVID and everything shut down, right? Estimating has been like a forever long pandemic, forever and ever, because everybody's busy. They don't have time to estimate. Estimating takes forever. And if you're a business owner, you know very well that you're getting 35,000 phone calls per minute and texts and phone calls and emails and people not being able to figure things out on the job site and you having to go drive there and figure it out for them, right? You're probably struggling with all that stuff. And that will destroy, not just hinder, but it will destroy your sales. And that is why many of you that are watching this cannot grow your business because estimating is the wall. So this is very important. Go get your son, go hire someone, go train someone, go get IM builders to do your estimates for you, whatever. The only word of caution here is you might be tempted to go with like an overseas freelancer or something like that. Be very careful there because a lot of those guys, they don't know what they're doing. They might know how to click the buttons and use the software, but at the end of the day, you're not going to see mistakes until 6 months into the job when you're running out of money. So be very careful. So what's going to happen? You're going to bid the job. The average closing ratio in construction in the beginning, when you don't know the people, is like 10%. And that's because people are going to buy on three things. One, it's going to be based on your relationship. Two, on your reputation. And three, based on your price. Okay. Those are the three aspects of sales, period. But specifically in construction, we're asking people to give us hundreds of thousands or millions of dollar contracts. And we're literally trying to go do it by sending a PDF in an email with some numbers on it. Hey, we would like this $1.5 million project. Here's my proposal. See attached. Boom. No phone call, no email, no follow-up, no visit, no relationship building. So if I'm the GC, I'm going to do this. All right, let's print it out. Oh, look, the number is 1.5 million. You know what? I don't know who this guy is, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to call my guy and I'm going to see if he can beat this number because this is my low bidder right now. Boom. And guess what? A lot of you guys complain that they're always getting the low bidder. They're always getting the low bidder. Or oh, they're using their own guy, or the guy gets he's always getting the job. Of course, he's always getting the job because if you're not doing the relationship and the reputation part of it, then you're competing on price. And if I'm the GC and I have my $150,000 year salary, $120,000 year salary, and I'm the project manager, guess who I'm going to pick? I'm going to pick the guy that's going to make me look good. So it's very important that you show off yourself so that they're going to want to use you. If we know what the game is, let's play the game. So let's go low on price. And let's do the break-even method. It's the name that I give my sales process when you're bidding for the first jobs. So I got this actually from retail sales. So people will come in the door with a Sunday paper. Oh, I want to buy this cheap TV. I'm like, yeah, look, let me show it to you. And then our commission was like 1% for that TV. So our job was to upsell them into a better TV and offer them the warranty and back then it was the Blu-ray package, which is like the accessories. Oh, you got to get the 3D goggles and blah, 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 right? All that stuff. This is what a lot of people don't do. They don't qualify their customers. Hey, so what are you looking for? Oh, I want a TV. Oh, what do you guys watch? Oh, my husband likes football. Oh, okay, great. What kind of football? Oh, blah, blah, blah. So I asked the right questions. And that led me to show her the brand new, in those days, it was the Sony TV with the Blu-ray and the 3D and the surround sound. And I'm like, your husband likes football. Why not get him the new 3D goggles so he could see ESPN 3D or whatever it was called back then, and get him the high definition with the warranty to cover it and blah, 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 blah. So I tacked on a couple other things, right? So we're going to do basically the same thing. It's called a loss leader. In retail marketing, it's called a loss leader. We're going to come in and we're going to bid at cost or very low, right? We're going to put in your salary. We're going to put in all of your direct labor, all of your material costs, your equipment, everything, right? So that you're not going to be negative, right? But what we're going to do is typically at the end of an estimate, you would put your overhead, and normally you would put a profit margin, but you're going to put a very low profit margin or you're going to break even. Because what you want to have a chance to demonstrate your team's skill, your team's ability to perform the work. You have to show your skill off of managing it and your team's skill in performing the work. Because ultimately these guys don't know what they're buying. In construction, you can get is a hit or miss. One guy could charge you 100 grand and be the best guy you've ever used, and another guy could charge you the same 100 grand and him be a piece of garbage. So you got to be careful when you hire people. And if they don't know you and you don't have a relationship or reputation, then all they can go by is your price. And I usually recommend that you start off on jobs that aren't too risky. They're not too complicated, jobs that are pretty straightforward. Small jobs. If you're a subcontractor that you're on the smaller side, I would stay things that are less than 200,000. If you're a GC, I would stay with things less than $1 million is what I would recommend. Don't go for those big jobs. Nobody's going to hire you. It's very rare that you are no name and you're going to go bid a 8-story apartment building or an apartment building complex with 10 buildings. That's a $20 million contract for you. Nobody's going to take that risk if they don't know you. Trust me. As a matter of fact, a lot of clients come to me and they're like, hey, can you bid this? I'm like, look, I could, but I don't think we should estimate this for you because you're going to waste your money. I think it's better that we start with this other job. And I'm honest with people because I don't want them to try and fail and waste their time and money. Okay. So now in this phase of your company, you need to build up this department, and either A, you build it up yourself, or B, you can outsource it. Then you're going to make up some money in change orders. So a lot of people hate when I talk about it. They hate it. All right. So let's be crystal clear here. When I talk about change orders, I'm not saying to go really low to trick them and then make up costs through change orders and abuse. Don't do that. That's shady. And that's just super shady. And if you do that, people will never hire you. Again, what I'm talking about is if you know that your typical contract, let's just take an average contract, 200,000, right? And almost on every single job that I used to do, there was typically 10% to 30% in change orders on things that just come up. Patchwork, reframing, owner revisions, things like that, always on every single job. So I knew that if I was doing a $200,000 project, by the end of that contract, by the end of that project, I will probably be at around, let's just say 250,000, right? With 50,000 in change orders. maybe even a little bit more. So I know that my bid, although my bid could be 200, and that's the price that I'm signing my contract on. So although I might be signing a contract for 200, I know I'm really signing a contract for probably like 250, right? So you got to remember that. And typically change order pricing is premium rates. You're not bidding, so you're not going to be super competitive on the numbers, right? They're not going to hire another drywall company to do your patchwork. They're not going to do that usually. So what I would say is just keep that on the back of your mind when you're trying to win these jobs, because not that we're trying to abuse them, but things come up. Back charges happen. Things happen on the job. It just happens. So those of you who are terrified of bidding at cost or bidding super low, don't be, because you're going to make up some money in the change orders. Now, that's going to lead you to job number one. And this is what I call the audition project. The audition project is your chance to blow them away. It's your chance to show them your management and your skill, because that's going to get you behind enemy lines. And the true deciders of construction projects, it's not the estimator and it's not the office manager, it's the project manager. So if you're already talking to an architect or a developer, there's usually a project manager or a project executive that makes the decisions. If you are a subcontractor, 9 times out of 10, there's a project manager and a project management team that you have to impress to get the job. I remember when I was a superintendent, I was brand new in construction, and we had just gotten awarded for the Bacardi company, the liquor company. They actually have their headquarters here in Coral Gables in South Florida. And I remember we were having a company meeting, and our estimator gave the project to our project manager. He looks through it and he goes, you know what? I'm not going to use any of these drywall guys. I'm going to use my guy. So he calls up, hey, Pedro, I got a price of this and this and this. Can you beat it? Yes, send me the plans. Boom. He sent him the plans. Now he knew the number. Boom, boom, boom. He called the painter. Boom, boom, boom. So he called all his own people. Why didn't he use one of the people that bid the job? Isn't that the honorable thing to do? It is. But at the end of the day, he has a nice $100 and something thousand salary. And it's his job to make sure that that project gets executed to surpass the expectations of our client, right? At the time, I was on the GC side. It was more beneficial for him to go back and find his own guys and use those guys. But those guys had a reputation and they had a relationship with them. And as long as their price was pretty close to that low bidder or that second bidder, they're going to get the job every single time. So that is a testament of how you get the job. Now, at this point, you bid the job, right? How do we know who to talk to? How do we know the project manager? Actually, in this next video, I'm going to go step by step on your follow-up and how to do your negotiations for all these projects. All right, so go ahead and watch that video.